Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. Here in this video, I'm going to discuss all the lookup formulas from Excel. So how we can use address, choose, columns, okay, formula text, then HLOOKUP, hyperlink, index, indirect, lookup or match, offset, rows, transpose, and VLOOKUP. How we can use these formulas, okay, to find out related value. Let's see. Okay. So let me start with first formula called address. So what is mean by address, right? Or how it works. So let's start typing formula. The moment you start typing address formula and the formula will be opened, it will ask you for the row number. So you have to say row number. Okay, you have entered row number. Then again, it will ask you for the column number. So if you say column number 2, so here you can imagine that what is my column number 2. So B is my column number 2, row is my second row, right? And if you wants to pass any other argument, you can accordingly pass absolute number or this A1. There is something A1 is like true and false value. Okay, I mean which is for okay, which not for absolute or relative. These are the kinds of options. If you want to do the calculation accordingly, you can take. I don't want, so here A1 is indicating for the which style, whether you can use 0 or 1. After that, sheet text is there. If you want to pass sheet text, you can pass. I don't want anything, so I will only enter row number and column number, and it will says, okay, this is what my range. Even that range is locked. The symbol you can see dollar, that dollar meaning is that cell or reference is locked. If I press Control D here, it is not going to change, right? So what we can see that we can use the address function to find the reference on the basis of row number and column number. This is what my first formula from this. Then let's see how we can use choose formula. Okay, so to start with choose formula, you have to select choose function first. Let me select choose function. So basically it asks you for the index number. So let's say if I enter index number 1, okay, and what is the index number for, I will discuss. Okay, so here it asks you, it is asking you for the value 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can select only single cell as a value. I can select single cell or I can select a range of cells. That is fine. I have selected range of cells. Okay, first value. Second value, again I have selected range of cells. Third value, again I have selected range of cells. Since I have selected range of cells, it is returning me the first value from, okay, first what we have selected P2 to P11. So here if you go in the value 1, we have P2 to P11. Out of that first value, it is returning me by default. Okay, but if you want, okay, if you want numbers from another cell or another range, that is from value 2. So value 2 has a range of Q2 to Q11. So let me go back. Here is my Q2 to Q11. If you want these numbers, yes, you supposed to change this number to 2, and it will pick the data from second value. Okay, that's why it is picking up. Similarly, if I want a number from quantity, right, definitely we can do that also. If I change this to 3, it is returning me that specific value. I mean that specific value of specified column. But by default, it is returning me the only first value. But I have selected an arrays, right? I have selected a range. So range, you won't be able to get. If you want to see the range, what you need to do, you need to use any kind of aggregation function, sum or count. It will return you. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. So if I go and if I select first 10 number, the range is, okay, sum of all my quantity number, whatever the range I have selected is 55, right? Then next is, if I select second, so range, sum of rank column is also 55. So our, this value is going to change, okay? And yes, if I pass, okay, not 3, I was remaining to check for only 1. So if I pass 1, it is giving me the sum of cells. That is what my, that is what the range I have selected as a first value. So this is how we can use choose formula. You can select multiple ranges in at a one time, and you can specify, you can, so same formula I can use, right, for many places. Definitely I can use. So here it is giving me, okay, to 55, and index should be third. Okay, choose, but range is changed. Yes, that's why, that's the reason, because we have not logged the cells. Here you can see that Q2 to R2, here S2 to S11 is changed, R2. So this is how range is changed. That's why values are different. But definitely we can log the range, and we can perform the operation. Now, this is all about choose formula. We can use choose in another formulas also. How we can use that, I will show you. Then there is something called columns. Column, and another one is columns. Okay, there is a difference of yes only. So column will return you column number. So let's say if I pass here, if I click here L2, it says that from which column number the value is, I mean, which column number is what we have referred, or whatever the reference we have selected from which column. So L is my 12th number column. A, B, C, D, if you count, L is 12th number column, right? That's why it is returning me a 12. Next is columns. If we select a range of columns, if we select range of columns and enter the button, it says that you have selected 6 columns. So this is how we can get. Let's try in another way. Okay, what will happen if I select the range of rows, right? And if I enter, nothing will happen. It says that there is only 1 column selected. So this is how it calculates. Everything happens behind the scene. You are getting directly values. So only 1 column was selected. Next formula is there, that formula text. Okay, so let me say formula text. This is what my formula. So you have to, if you want to view the formula rather than viewing its value or all, so you can use this formula. So I will say formula text. Okay, and you have to select that particular cell where formula is already entered, and you are able to view the formula in this cell by using formula text formula. The name itself has formula, so it is a little bit confusing. Okay, then there is something called hyperlink. You can add external links also. Hyperlink. Okay, what you need to do, you need to say hyperlink, and you have to pass the link address here, and friendly name is, I will say, Google. Okay, and okay, here name I can enter is as a text. Yes, and here what I'm going to do is https:// right, www.google.com, and if I hit the enter, so this, if I click on this text, this will open my Google page, right? This is how it is going to work. We can add hyperlink also. Next formula I would like to discuss is index. So there is something called index. Okay, index. So what index does? Index does index return as a value. So I will say index based on column number and range. So basically, when we start index formula, it is asking you for the array. Okay, let me pick some data as an array so that we can easily understood. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Okay, so I will pick this data here so that every time we do not need to move on another sheet. Right. So if I press this, if I make this data as a table so that it is little bit pretty much view. Okay, to view the data in table format. Next, I will start with index. So whenever I start with index, you have to select the array. Whenever you see and select an array, table array. So whenever it asks you array, you have to select the multiple cells. Okay, multiple cells, either in column wise, either in row wise, or in combination of multiple rows and multiple columns. So you have to select basically a table. Okay. So what I did, I have selected a table. Now here I have to pass row number from which I wanted to return the value. I will say I want to return a value from first row. I want to return a value from first column. If I hit the enter, here you will see output as a order ID. Why? Because here is your value matching. We have selected this table, and for this table, this is my first column, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, and this is fifth column. Similarly, we have rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these kinds of rows and columns are there. And if you enter 1, 1, okay, first row, sorry, first column, first row of this table, it will return order ID. If I change, okay, what I will do, I will select second row, second column. What is my value? 22 October, right? 22 October 2017. So I will change this to 2. Okay, accordingly you will get a value. Okay, 2, 3 I selected, but I supposed to select 2 as discussed. So now here you are able to see the value as a 22 October. So this is how index works, right? The next formula is match. Okay, match always return a row number or column number from selected range. Okay, so how it is going to match is basically a lookup function. We are looking up for the specific value index from selected array or from selected range. So how to use match? You have to start with the match. First, it will ask you what to find. I mean, first lookup value. Let me say, let me pick this 6 number value here. Okay, and I would like to apply a match for this. Okay, match. I will select this. Okay, this is what fine. I used a lookup a value as a F4, whatever the cell value would be there. And I have to find this order ID in my 1 to 11 row. 1 to 11 rows. And how you want to find? I want exact match. If I hit enter, is it not returning me a row number? Right? For the specified table, it is returning me a row number. So match is basically used to return either a row number or column number whenever there is a match between match for the value, not between the value, not match for the value. So this is what we used for vertical, what we can say, the column match, or we can do match for row also. So what I will do, I will use match. Here, the moment I say match, what you need to do, you need to pass something here. What I will do, I will say order. Okay, it is fine. Order date. I have entered a text. It is fine. We can enter that also. So it will look for that value. Where I have to see this here in this range. So I have entered. Then you have to say 0 because you need a exact match, right? And here what it says, it is returning me a column number. That it says that order date is exist in whatever the range we have selected at second index or at second column. This is how we can use match for either row or either for column. Then lookup we have seen, we have seen. Then we have something called rows. Okay, row and rows, like column and columns. So row will return a row number. Basically, if I say row, okay, you have to give the reference. If I select this 16, A16, it will say 16th number row you have selected. Similarly, the rows function will return me a number of rows. So if I go and if I select a range of rows, it will say that how many rows I have selected. So I have selected 13 rows. Okay, this is how it works. Then what is there in lookup? Okay, next function we have to see is transpose. I will discuss each and every function. Okay, almost transpose. Okay, so here what you need to do? Transpose is nothing but you have to convert your data into row. Means this is a column level data, right? Means we have a labels or headers at column side, right? Or at column level. I want to convert this data into a row level. Yes, it is possible. We can transpose. So basically, whenever you copy this data and whenever you have to paste this data, definitely you can do that. Control Alt V. If you press Control Alt V, you have to select values and you have to select transpose. It is going to transpose the data. Now if you see whatever the value your column has, that values are converted to row. Same thing we have to do using formula. Same thing we have to do using a formula, right? So how to do that? So basically what you need to do, you need to select first your table array. You have to see how many values are there and how many columns are there. So whatever the number of columns are there, for those many number of columns we will select rows. How many rows are there? Okay, 11 rows are there. So against 11 rows I will select 11 columns. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, right? Okay, so this is how I have selected. So now you have to start using formula called transpose, and then you have to select your array. So I am going to select this array, and you have to complete the formula by adding end parenthesis. Once you done, don't hit enter. If you hit enter, this formula is not going to work for you. So what you need to do, you need to select Control Shift and then you have to hit the enter. Then you have to hit the enter. Okay, sorry, my bad. I was selected Control Shift, and this is not going to work now. But yes, definitely, I only selected 4 rows against 5 columns. So that's why customer ID is not there. But yes, it will be there if I re-enter the formula. Okay, what I will do, I will say transpose, and if I reselect the array, okay, enter, and if I say Control Shift, it, yes, my values are updated and my data is changed into row level data, right? Row level, column to row level conversion is possible by using transpose formula. So you have to make sure that before and once you enter the transpose formula, you have to make sure that you press Control Shift and then hit the enter. Otherwise, this formula is not going to work for anyone. Okay, then at last we have something called VLOOKUP. After that VLOOKUP, we will see HLOOKUP. Okay, we will see HLOOKUP, how HLOOKUP is working. So now I would like to delete this. Okay, I don't want this. So now what I will do, I will say VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP is a vertical lookup. Okay, if you have a few selected IDs from this table somewhere in another sheet, in another workbook, or in another range, and someone asks you to find customer ID against each of these order ID. So since there is a data in column level, we definitely need to use VLOOKUP. So I will use VLOOKUP. whenever I start VLOOKUP, it will ask you for the lookup value. Definitely, whatever the values you have, or for which value you have to bring customer ID, that you need to select. Then entire table you have to select. Okay. Once you select the entire table, it will ask you for the column index number. Column index number is nothing but from your first column, not I mean not for first column. If your order ID is suppose, let's say, at third column, then it will start from. So whenever your whatever the values you have received to look up, so that value you have to check in which column that values are exist. From that column you have to select, and you have to select until customer ID, okay, or until end. But you have to count that from order ID, how much or what is the number of column called customer ID. So let's say if as I know that customer ID is located at fifth column, so I can pass column index number as a fifth, and here I will pass 0 as a false, so that it looks for exact match. Okay. If I use this formula, yes, definitely it is able to look up vertically by using VLOOKUP, right? So when we are familiar with now VLOOKUP, similarly we can use HLOOKUP also. Let me see VLOOKUP, right? How to use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, right? HLOOKUP. So when we use VLOOKUP, whenever we have a data in column level data, right? Our headers are in the column, so we will use VLOOKUP. If our headers are in row, then what we will do, we will use HLOOKUP. That will be pretty much possible. So what I will do, I will go here, I will transpose this data. Okay, it is easy way to transpose. Instead of using transpose formula, I have a data now in row level, right? So I have to use a lookup, and let me say you have a order IDs like this here in this cell, order ID. Okay, here I will use order ID. All other column values are below of this. So row labels you have given, and you have to look up for the values. Then you can use HLOOKUP. I will say HLOOKUP. I will select lookup value. Okay, I will say lookup value, comma. It will ask you for the table array. You have to select the table array. Okay, you don't need to select that order ID and all. I don't think so that is required. And once you select, because we are not looking for the order ID and all, it's already there. Headers or labels we don't need. Then row index number. Okay, earlier it was for VLOOKUP, it was asking for column index. Now it is asking for row index. So similarly, we will pass. See, if I need customer ID, what I will do, I will use fifth index, and again 0. So this is how it's going to work. If you press Control R, your formula will be dragged horizontally towards right side, and you will get corresponding values herein. Right. So this is how VLOOKUP works, HLOOKUP works, hyperlinks works. Then there is something called indirect. Okay, what you can do, you can indirectly give the reference of range. So how it is going to work? Okay, so indirect will give you the reference. If I say indirect, and here you have to pass the reference in text, that will be remains same. That is what not going to change. If I say A1, okay, and after that, what you need to do? So here you have to enter either true or false. If you enter true or false, your reference should be in R1 C1 style, row 1, column 1 style. Or if you pass the true, it is like our normal style. Okay, so I will use true. So since I have used A1, I supposed to use true. Okay, so this is what giving me the value of first cell A1, right? So this is how we can use indirect. This is how what we can do. We can use indirect. So whenever I copy paste this formula anywhere, it is not going to change. Reference will remain same because we have used it. So this is it not like selecting a constant range, right? That range will not be changed. So whenever we have to select the table array, we can use this indirect formula to put the lock on our cells. Definitely we can use this formula. Right. So what formula we have discussed now? Indirect I have discussed. Okay. Indirect. So to replace VLOOKUP, you can use index and match together. Okay. Match is used to return the column and row number. Accordingly, index will return values. You can try that formula also, so that you do not need to enter VLOOKUP for each and every column. Once you enter, you are able to get the values for all. So this is how we have a lookup formulas, various lookup formulas in Excel. I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day.